Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us here today. This is the Edinboro University Undergraduate Admissions Office. My name is Charles. I'm one of the undergraduate recruiters here, along with Rena McCartney, who is a fellow recruiter with me and also our events coordinator. And I have Melissa Manning, our associate director here in the admissions office. So we're going to go through a little timeline here for any high school students starting to think about college, preparing for the future, and just, what the process entails and what you should start to think about. Um, so Rena and Missy, what advice can you guys give a sophomore in high school who is just starting to think about planning for college?
I think one of the most important things would be the high school courses that a student is taking. If they even think college will be part of their plans in the future, they need to make sure that they're taking as much math and science and English and social studies as possible, just to be ready for anything. And to not only take those classes, but to do their best in those classes as well. What do you think, Rena?
I also think visiting a college campus is very important, and some sophomores may feel, oh, maybe I'm too young to be doing this. But the more homework you do prior to your senior year, you're going to feel more and more comfortable in making a college decision. So I say go visit the college campuses, because when you visit college campuses, you have a lot you want to consider. You want to consider, the location of the campus, the size, what programs do they offer, because every college will be different. And this is going to be your home away from home for the next 4 years. So you definitely want to feel comfortable and feel good whenever you go to visit that college campus.
Really is about the fit.
Yeah, students also, one thing to keep in mind right now is you can utilize all the virtual tour options. We have a plethora of those available here at Edinboro. If there's campuses you can't make it to easily, that's something you can start with.
I would also recommend that a student get as involved as they possibly can with maintaining good grades with extracurricular activities, sports, volunteer work, part-time jobs. Colleges sometimes take a holistic approach when reviewing applications. And while grades and test scores might be most important, they're also looking to see how a student can balance their time, what have they been involved with. It really looks good. It's a resume of sorts.
Yeah, one last thing I would say is they should utilize their school counselor, the resources around them. You mentioned the classes a student should be taking. Well, the counselor can make sure that you're on the right track and starting down the right path early on. You don't want to get to your senior year and realize that there's courses that you needed to take at that point.
Right. That leads right into the junior year, which tends to be one of the most important years, I think, in the college preparation process. And might be a good time to consider introducing advanced placement courses into your curriculum if you've had the opportunity, and not just to take the classes, but to take the exams. Many colleges will accept college credit for a class, for a course if you score a 3 or higher on the advanced placement exam. Also, there's options of dual enrollment. Perhaps you have those opportunities by taking college level courses while you're in high school, which really can save you some time and some money possibly as you pursue your bachelor's degree.
You also want to consider taking the psat in the fall of the year if you're able to. And again, as I mentioned during the sophomore year, is maybe to attend one of the colleges you're looking into, their open house event, whether it's an in-person open house or a virtual open house.
Right. And isn't it true that some colleges will waive the application fee if a student attends a virtual or an on-campus visit?
Yeah, that is correct. That's correct, Missy. A lot of colleges will waive that $30 application fee or fee to apply to their college when they do attend an on-campus event or a virtual event. So every little bit helps to save money.
Yes, that's an incentive to start visiting campuses. Now, what are some things that you guys think a student should be thinking about when they are visiting campus?
That's a good question. I think they need to be considering what really feels right to them? Do they feel, Rena mentioned earlier as a sophomore, whenever you're narrowing your college search, as you visit these campuses, where do you feel more at home? Do you like the small rural type campus that might have just a couple thousand students, if even? Maybe you'd like a larger research university where there's hundreds of students in your classes. I think oftentimes it really does come down to your major as well. You're obviously plan to go to a school that offers the program that you're interested in.
Yeah. And also you're just going to want to become familiar with just the college search process in general, because every college may be similar, but yet very different. Know the certain deadlines that each college campus may or may not have. Are they rolling admissions? That's really important, is just to be aware of certain dates throughout your junior year.
So I think as you go ahead, Charlie.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's important to, get familiar with the deadlines and specific programs. For example, our nursing program has different requirements than other programs. So that's something a student, would want to know around this time in terms of taking the SAT. That can be another reason why they should take the SAT and things like that.
Right. And being aware of the admissions requirements at other colleges during your junior year will really help you plan. Some schools just require an application and a transcript, possibly test scores, SATs or ACTs. Others may require letters of recommendation. They may require an essay, and you certainly will want time to plan for that. I always tell the story that if there's a favorite teacher, there's chances are there's many students asking that teacher to write letters of recommendation. And if you have deadlines on your application, then you really need to prepare well in advance.
Okay. Well, let's say senior year's here now. I've done all my preparing for the last 2 years. And I want to begin with the actual application process. Where do I begin now?
Go ahead, Rena, please.
I was just going to say, you can go ahead and you can apply, usually right online at that college's website, or also you may want to check the common application. Some colleges can be found on the common application. So you can start applying usually, July 1 of your senior year.
Right. And don't forget to ask your school counselor to mail or send electronically your high school transcript, and be aware if a school does require SATs and ACTs. And I know we didn't talk about that too much, but just be aware if they do require the SAT or ACT, because you will want to have taken that your junior year, if at all possible. And then again in your senior year, the first semester, if you would like.
Yeah, I think, the application process can seem a little frightening at times, but once you get the actual application submitted and find out what your other required documents are, what are some other things students should be thinking about in terms of, financial aid and things along those lines?
Right. Well, October 1st of the senior year of the student's high school is the first date that the financial aid application, which is called the FAFSA, free application for federal student aid, it's the first date that it can be submitted. And a common question that we're asked is, well, I haven't been admitted yet. Is it okay to fill out the FAFSA? And it absolutely is okay to be in both processes simultaneously.
And also students are going to want to be aware of all internal and external types of scholarships. So maybe go visit your school guidance office to see what scholarships may be, in your local town, or just what other scholarship websites are available. I know fastweb.com and petersons.com are two excellent scholarship websites you may want to check out as well. Because at the end of the day, the more money that you have in scholarships, you won't necessarily have to pay that back.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing we should mention is some schools have rolling admissions. I think you might have mentioned that earlier, Rena, which means no deadline for the application. But the sooner that you apply, the sooner that you submit your supporting documents, the sooner you'll get an admissions decision, which in turn gives you more time to make up your mind about your final college selection. You have an opportunity to do another campus visit, maybe perhaps attend an admitted student day where you can get additional questions answered and really finalize your choice and make sure you're making the right decision for where you might spend the next 4 years.
Yeah, I guess that's the final part of the process. Once a student has applied and now they've been accepted, sometimes, then they don't know what to do from that point. So can you guys explain that process a little bit?
Yeah, once a student's, admitted, they have usually until a certain date to make their final admissions decision. So most colleges are going to require a security deposit, and that will secure their place on campus for the upcoming semester. So that really tells a university that they're planning on attending their college.
Right. Which then kicks off the whole enrollment process, where a student can spend the rest of the time through the summer attending college orientation, freshman orientation, meeting their roommate, choosing their housing assignment if they choose to live on campus, scheduling classes for the freshman year. That's when it really becomes, I don't know what the right word is, but it becomes, they're making their final decision and it becomes reality, I guess is what I'm looking for.